Welcome to the CADS after-match chat, where the game doesn't end with the final whistle. Join the CADS as they dive into the bruising showdown between Tottenham and Chelsea, bringing you post-match analysis that's sharper than a Chelsea defender's elbow. Okay, no avoiding it. Let's get into this one. It's going to hurt. This one's going to hurt. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a difficult night, I'm sure. But Matt, Andreas has joined us for the first time this season. Ash, as always, and Austin, who hopefully will sort out his audio issues that he's experienced for the last 2 weeks. But let's get into it. As our first timer here, Andreas, you get to kick this one off. How are you feeling?
Actually, I'm not feeling that bad. And I think actually that's why I came on as well. Basically,
To
because
lift the rest of us.
I mean, despite the fact that the team had a massive collective meltdown in the first half, both Romero and Udogi could have been sent off way earlier than they were.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we were playing 9 men, I think I saw a team playing a lot better than I saw them playing last season with 9 men.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw someone write in CADS that all the 9 players playing were heroes, and I genuinely believe that as well. Obviously, that was written when we were only 2-1 down, but I mean, it was bound to happen to concede the third and fourth goal because we were trying to get an equaliser with 9 men, and I actually applaud that attitude. So yeah, I'm not as disappointed having lost 4-1 against Chelsea as I probably should be.
Okay, we're going to move on alphabetically, I think, which puts Ash up next.
Oh, thanks. Hey guys. Sorry, I lost my voice. I had some things. Anyway, if I sound different or sexier, I actually
This is not the forum for that, Ash. Come on.
I agree with
Come and
Andres.
discuss Spurs, not come and discuss sex.
Hey, Spurs are sexy. I actually agree with Andreas. I'm not feeling that bad because I saw a lot of heroes out there on the field. And I knew this was going to happen. I said this one of our initial conversations. I said, okay, what happens when either through injuries, suspensions, bad luck, bad referees, we hit a bad patch? I think this is going to be coming up now. And I think it's going to prove whether Ange is the man that we hope he is or not, because he's going to be playing all our squad in different positions. You can see Højbjerg or Royal or Dyer, and for sure Dyer, in centre-back positions. If Maddis has gone down, we're going to see somebody else coming into that position. So I'm actually feeling pretty good in the sense that, well, Ange is a pretty positive guy. What's he going to do? I'm not doom and gloom. I don't feel that. And I thought some of the players on the field really were heroes, and congratulations to them, for putting in an effort like that.
Yeah, I think it needs to be clarified that my not depression, but my lack of joy from this match is not down to the result. Freak results happen, and I think this is a freak result. My concern now is we've lost Romero for 3 games because there is no way that's not a free match sending off. We've lost Van der Ven, possibly. I mean, Andreas earlier was saying it's between 3 and 8 weeks. Normally, that kind of thing. For me, I think 6 weeks. Hamstring injury, 6 weeks. We'll be lucky to see him again before Christmas. Maddison, I think, was potentially taken off as a protective measure because it's not the first time we've seen that. But oh god, there was a point where Pedro Porro went down as well, and he was after he twisted his ankle, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful, because if he goes off, we'll have had a doggy sent off, we'll have had Van der Ven injured, Romero sent off, and now Porro off for injured. We'd have had entire back 4 gone. There are some positives that come out of this. I thought the big Viking, the big Dane, had a great game, really. And also I thought Vicario brought some big Vic energy, as somebody else said. Yeah. Austin, how are you feeling?
Remarkably positive. Yeah. I mean, Son went through when we were 2-1 down and didn't hit his shot as well as Son can hit his shot. Had he equalised at 2-2, then I think we'd have got a draw. We were trying to get the draw. We were trying to get back, so they scored a third goal and a fourth goal, but only because we were pushing forward. And that Dyer finish was sumptuous offside.
Oh, yeah.
The Son finish in the first half from the Brendan Johnson run, that was a sumptuous finish. He just glided that into the net. I mean, some of the stuff we did tonight, I thought was sublime. Then we had 20 minutes to 25 minutes of absolute fucking madness, which infuriated me. Udogie and Romero, for goodness sake, sort yourselves out. But taking that, we had 9 people, and including the substitutes, probably 13 people all told. I didn't count how many subs we used. I thought they were
all the subs. We used all of the subs.
I thought they were
The 61st
absolutely
minute.
fucking magnificent. They defended, they fought. I thought Dyer was superb when he came on. He made a couple of outstanding clearances. Vicario was my man of the match. But
Yeah.
I'm not so bothered about the result. It's pissed me off. But we actually matched Chelsea for a lot of that second half with 9 men, and I thought that was superb.
Yeah.
I'm worried now about the losses to the team and who's going to fill in. But in terms of my response to that match, it's not as negative as it might be. In fact, it's actually quite positive, because I thought they showed how unspursy they were. In fact, quite the opposite.
Yeah. I think we'll come back to who's going to fill in later. But Matt, what are your immediate thoughts from this one?
Well, so many things that I could say. I mean, lots of good points there, just first off. I think that I'd agree with everyone about the attitude of the players for the most part. I would like to come back to Romero's sending off, because I think I'm going to buck the trend on that. I thought it was a terrible decision. I don't think he deserved to be sent off for that incident at all. I don't understand how he could be. So maybe others will disagree. But my overriding sense from the game is someone did something. I don't know, someone put the wrong socks on this morning or something. But okay, I'm a man of science, right? You all know that. But I think today is conclusive proof that there are gods of football, and that the gods of football hated us, because pretty much everything that could go wrong did. And not for, I think, reasons of attitude of players. I thought we started the game very well. I think we used up all our small amount of luck with Kulusevski's goal, the deflection. And after that, I watched that goal go in, and I was like, right, edge we deserve maybe, but the goal itself was a bit lucky. Game on, we don't necessarily deserve that goal. It was easy. Let's see how the rest of the game unfolds. And everything, well, pretty much everything after a few minutes just went wrong. And Son's goal was amazing, was brilliant. We were steamrolling at that point. Could so easily have been onside. There's such fine margins. And pretty much, Sterling's handball, disallowed goal was, I thought, a bit lucky in a way, because despite our mistake, the goal was disallowed, and it distracted from Romero's fairly obvious red card offence when he lashed out, which was classic Romero, the worst of Romero, swinging his leg like that. That was a red card, and he got off with one then. Maybe he would have been better off with that one in a way, rather than the red card and penalty. But yeah, so after that point, everything that could go wrong did, and it was, we showed amazing resolve to make that game as close as it turned out to be, despite the fact that the gods of football hated us. And that's my overwhelming feeling.
Well said. Well said.
In terms, I have to say, I breathed a sigh of relief when you agreed that the penalty sending off was correct, because when you said Romero shouldn't have been sent off, I was like, hang on. I thought you were talking about the second one. You mean the first one where he took a little kick out at Colwill? Yeah,
that was worthy of a red card. Yeah, but it shouldn't have been. But it shouldn't have been a penalty.
Right. Exactly.
It should not have been a penalty.
You didn't get that Matt said that. It shouldn't have been a penalty.
Should not have been a penalty.
Why not?
Because Romero's action is to clear the ball.
Yeah.
He kicks the ball. Whatever he does in the follow through after taking a physical posture to clear a ball is not something he should be held responsible for. So it's not a tackle. It's a kick. He kicks the ball, and as in the follow through after the kick, his leg goes down in a totally normal way, lands on the guy's shin. But it's not. He doesn't go over the ball. The commentator said he did. It's not true. Well, the commentators on my stream said that he went over the ball. He didn't go over the ball. He scuffed his clearance, but he got it with his heel. He kicked the ball, and as his foot came down, it landed on the player. It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty, let alone a yellow card or a red card. It's not a foul.
Okay, for me, I would say that was about as blatant a penalty and red card as you could get. The guy, he was clumsy. He made a bad choice. He made a bad decision. He fouled the guy. It was a foul. He fouled the guy in the box, and his boot connected with the guy's ankle. You know, there was a whole lot of complaint about the Curtis Jones red card earlier in the season. And I thought that's a red card, and tonight I thought that's a red card as well.
I'm not talking about any other decisions. Not comparing with anything. In my opinion, the fact of the matter is he kicked the ball, so it's not even a tackle. The ball was there. He kicked it.
Yeah, but it was clumsy. Frankly, in the minute or two leading up to that, I typed into the forum, Romero's lost his head, and then he did that, and I was like, yeah, there we go.
But you don't get he for clumsily kicking the ball that's not a foul, right? So
you are still responsible, even if in the follow through. So you are responsible whether you kick it or not. If you kick it in head height somewhere and you accidentally you kick the ball away and then you continue onto a guy's head, that's also a red card because you are responsible for where your feet end up.
Unless you're a Liverpool player named Jota, then that doesn't count.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Liverpool's the exception here. But
Andreas, what you've described there is textbut dangerous play because that's a high boot. So it's not a textbook. It's not a textbook case of dangerous play because he's kicking a ball. And it's difficult in a crowded box to know where your foot's going to land after you kick the ball.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the fact that he ended up with Stutz first onto his ankle. I can see why they would believe that's a dangerous play as well.
What do the others think? What do you think, Austin?
Being of a certain age, that was a bloody good tackle or bloody good clearance in my book. But you do have to be responsible for where your feet end up, and I think it was a justifiable penalty. I was gutted for it. I hoped they wouldn't give it, but I knew once it got sent to VAR that it would be given as a penalty because that's just the way it is nowadays.
Okay, but that's because you're expecting a decision after he's called to VAR. But I take your point. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority here. Maybe Ash agrees with me. I think I already heard you say.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you, Matt.
Nice. Thank you. No, so there's a split decision here, sort of 3-2. So I'll accept that it's debatable at the very least. I still think it's harsh in the sense that ultimately, when you're kicking the ball in a crowded box, it's very difficult for you to say. It's not a dangerous action; it's just an unfortunate action. That's how the distinction I would make. But okay, so having spoken to you guys, maybe I'll calm down a little bit on that level of injustice and anger. But yeah, so I think that it felt harsh. There was certainly, in my opinion, it falls under the heading of bad luck, along with many of the other things that happened today. Full-blooded clearance. But
there's been
unlucky.
teams clubs who've been sending out club statements asking for a rematch for lesser fouls than that. So,
right,
yeah,
rematch.
Following on from the penalty. Well, following on from that red card, there was a penalty. How impressive was Vic to get to that ball and get two hands on it, and how unfortunate was it for it to go in off the post. I think that was just indicative of the kind of night he had. He was so good. He was bloody impressive. As Andreas said in a little chat, we had a little side chat we had going. He said, "This is better than Lloris ever was," and I can't remember Lloris having a night like that. He had some wonderful moments, certainly in his early days, where he'd come out sweeping, but those were one or two a game. Vic had like 5 or 6 moments where he came out and just took it out, and he was brilliant.
He was outstanding.
Yeah.
Basically,
the confidence that that Ange put in having a high line still, and they must have discussed it and said, "Okay, Vic, you're the last line of defense. Do your job." And for the most part, he really did, surprisingly and wonderfully. Vic, man of the match from our side.
Yeah, I don't think you put a foot wrong, which is an interesting statement to make when you let in 4 goals.
Yeah,
but this is one of the rare cases where you can say that.
Unlike Mudryk, who put a foot right where it hurts on Big Vic, and you know what, they were the winning goals were scored after that, right? It was because he was keeping them out until then.
Yeah.
How was that only a yellow card? If you follow through on a goalkeeper that late, how is that only a yellow card?
Yep, absolutely.
I was hoping that the ref would even it up, but earlier on in the game, Udogie took that away. I mean, that's one I'm annoyed with. I know he's a young player, but that was a full-on just bad choice. Lost his head, in my opinion.
Well, he should have walked earlier, frankly, because that was very, very bad challenge earlier on.
Under the circumstances, he's got. I know that it's a difficult situation, but he's got to calm it down. I mean, and it did start before Romero's sending off. Like, we were steamrolling them, and then we just sort of let the occasion get the better of us. And even if we're talking about these detailed decisions, but we started giving the ball away. And maybe this is the difficult part of the game plan where, staying calm and picking those little passes, picking through teams, that's all very well when people are calm. But when the occasion starts to get the better of people, those passes can go astray. And it really stuck us in it. And that's how Sterling got his chance.
Caused that, Matt. Because I thought the ref was responsible for that, because there were at least 3 challenges where our players were pushed over and there was nothing given, not even a foul, let alone a booking. And I think that riled our team. We shouldn't have allowed ourselves to be riled, but I think had the ref given some of those free kicks, then we might have stayed with our heads down and played.
That's true. I still think we have to have responsibility for our actions and react well to that kind of pressure.
Completely.
But I take your point. Yeah.
But this is a young team. This is a young team that's going to learn. It's going to learn from things like this. We've got 2 players over the age of 25, with Vic and Sonny. So the rest are all very, very young players. Oh, Højbjerg. I meant starters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is a young team that's going to learn and going to see things like that. And I think there are going to be moments with players like Destiny where kind of have to see mistakes being made that they can learn from them.
When did Udogie nearly get sent off?
It was the start of the meltdown, frankly.
Sterling. Yeah. It was his yellow card, basically.
About 21 minutes in, I think.
He went in 2-footed, but maybe the defense was that he went in 2-footed on the ball, not the man, which helped.
Yeah.
Like the ball was to the side of the man, and so he took the ball. It wasn't that dangerous because the man's leg wasn't behind it.
I think he grazed the Chelsea defender with his heel or something, and that's why he only got a yellow card. And we're talking centimeters here. That could have gotten sent off.
I'm not depressed.
But
maybe you need to mute.
I have done.
Ash.
We don't want to hear. Well, let's give Ash some privacy on his telephone call. He's fine. Okay, let's move on from the debacle that we've just seen. And when I say debacle, it's the bad result. It's the players that are missing.
Can we maybe before we move on from the game, you seem to be ready to move on. I would like to let's just go through some of the players a bit more, because I think some of the individual performances were amazing. I don't think Porro's name's been mentioned yet. Sorry if I missed it, but I thought Porro was brilliant. He was absolutely superb. Like everything he was doing was on the money. Like those passes, those crosses that he were putting in, they were the only thing keeping us, giving us any kind of chances of scoring. Right, I felt so bad for Dyer because he thought that that was 1-1, right? Yes, he was offside. He could have timed his run better. But what a finish, what a pass.
Yeah.
And poor Bentancur as well, who really had a chance and sort of got stuck between heading it and kicking it and sort of didn't quite judge it right. It's kind of maybe looked a bit rusty. But that would have been an amazing moment to equalise as well. But I mean, it was great to see Bentancur playing. Porro, Vicario, and as you said, Austin Dyer was immense as well. I feel a bit better about. Well, I know you want to get onto this about future games, but in Højbjerg as well. I mean, some great performances and a few other players. Kulusevski did well in a difficult situation. Son as well. So many.
Son must have
really
run
good
100 miles tonight. He absolutely raced around that pitch.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd love to see the stats.
Yeah, I've seen Bissouma play better. I've seen Sarr play better, but they were both good. But yeah, there was a few players were just absolute heroes. And really, I mean, Højbjerg, it was hilarious. When Højbjerg somehow managed to get his shin to that ball and clear it over the line, that was like a memorable moment for the season. That will be clipped up.
That.
I know the result didn't go right, but he and Vicario and a few other players, the reactions to that were hilarious. It was adorable, really. But how he miraculously got that over the crossbar, I have no idea. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought, there were some nice things about the game to mention before we move on.
Okay. Anybody else?
If I may.
Go on, please.
Because I just had a look at a few stats, obviously.
Oh, we've missed you.
That's all.
And we actually created more than 60 or 0.6 xg after with 9 men on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we actually topped 2 games from last season, if this website is correct. Our loss away, home or away to Aston Villa, was only 55 xg, and there are a lot of games which are below those 0.96 that we created during this whole match, which means that playing 9 men, we played more aggressively than we have played 11 men last season.
Last season, when we were playing Milan and we were losing, we probably didn't have a measurable XG.
Nope.
That XG would have been like in the milli XGs.
Yeah.
I mean, right. So it's night and day comparing how we played against Milan.
Absolutely. And that's just to round up and say I'm actually quite happy with our performance because it's such a change from what we saw last season. So, yeah.
That was a major change in mindset. The difference between last season and this season, it's night and day, honestly. And I think if we'd had a result like this last year, we'd have been shaking our heads and going, yeah, well, that's been coming. Yeah. This year, it's kind of like it took a freak set of circumstances for that result to happen.
But I must say that I'm loving the positive attitude, but I would raise questions about the wisdom at 1-1 with 2 players down playing a high line like that. I mean, it was nice to see. That was more a question of sticking to our principles than I think playing the match situation. And I'm loving the new mindset. I think it says good things about the future. But I have to say that what was it? It's about 70 minutes, 1-1. At that point, or maybe earlier, you look at that high line, you just go, and this is like your training match setup. All it really takes is one run that's timed properly and a decent first touch, and it's game over. And when you're playing with a situation like that, I don't know.
Mark, why do you think he did that then? It was his strategy. Obviously, he must have said, "Vic, you're going to be last defender." Okay, high line. Why do you think he did that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because he wants to maintain the possibility of scoring a goal, which is impressive and bold, and we all applaud that kind of thing. But it's really a striking sign that the limits to which he'll take this tactic are beyond what I've ever seen. I think I don't remember any manager taking a situation like that. Maybe Pep's done it once or twice. I can't remember. This sort of, I mean, we weren't even playing possession football. We were like letting them have it because we had no choice. And playing a back line on the halfway line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
A 7-man back line.
Yeah. And it's not, we have some pace in that back line, but not enough. not the right players necessarily. At one point, Royale being in the back two was fine, but then Højbjerg was in there, and then it was like Royale was quite wide, and Porro was quite wide. So these are your paciest players in that back line, and they're so far from the play that really all it takes is one reasonably narrow, reasonably well-timed ball, and ask Højbjerg, who did okay, and Dyer as well in situations like that. But there were bad first touches that were keeping us in that, and bad timing runs that were, we were banking on Chelsea being a mess. I think any half decent team would score eventually. So yeah, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. I love the attitude, but it is a little bit mad. Maybe we should,
He's probably
take heart.
He's probably going to be doing that. He's probably not going to change. That's just, that's his.
If he's doing it in this situation, he's doing it in every situation, isn't he?
Yeah,
so I guess there you are.
I think that's what it is. I think
Can I just say one thing?
Of course,
Matt is a man of science. We gambled to try and get 3 points, but we only lost 1 point. That's precisely why he did it. We could have won that game.
I'm not a gambler. I'm a scientist. It's not the same thing. I understand playing the odds, the risk return stuff, sure, but yeah. I guess I don't need to say more than that.
No,
I think my thoughts on it are this is very much, it encompasses who Ange is. He's not going to change the way that we attack, change the way that we play because of circumstances which go against us. He's going to say, right, okay, we've only got 9 men. We'll go out and do the best we can. Go out, play our football, do what you can. And there were still some really good moments. And we could have scored. And I mean, we did score, but it was offside. Again, there were like 5 offside goals in that game. That's the nut. There were 5 goals and 5 goals not given. That game was nuts. That game was insane. But I mean, there are two more things I really want to talk about. The first one, anybody else just heart sank right through them when Van der Vaart pulled up with his hamstring injury.
Van der Ven,
yeah. When he pulled up with that hamstring injury,
yes.
that was a sickener.
That was.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be out longer. He's going to be out longer than Romero is.
Yeah. Oh, without shadow of a doubt.
He is crucial to the way we play with his recovery pace.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that Dyer had a good game. I think we all knew it was going to be difficult for Dyer to come back into the side. If you had to write a script for when Dyer would come back into the side, you'd probably write this down. That was maybe the one good thing about it. If Dyer's going to come in, backs to the wall, bravery, I don't think he made any mistakes really, given the task that he was asked to do. And his pace was a bit exposed, but only in the sense that the whole idea of the gameplay was a little bit exposed. I don't think he can really be blamed for it. So no, I think I'm reasonably confident that Dyer is not going to be any more exposed. It's not going to get much more exposed than that. Let's put it that way. And I thought he did all right, but yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to, I guess. I've not seen the guy play enough, but Ashley, what's his name again? The other guy, the new young
Phillips.
Ashley Phillips. Thank you. Ashley Phillips might get a look in at times as well. But yeah, that was tough. That was tough to watch. Maddison going down as well. Just yet another just unbelievable injury, unbelievable turn of events. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. Stu, what was you said there were like 2 points. What's the other one?
Yeah, second point. How do we think Andrew's going to respond to this?
Be positive. I think he's going to be positive. Well, first of all, what else can you do? Second of all, you're not going to have your centre back pairing, so you're obviously drafting in guys who haven't started. That's just the reality of it. And Matters is out. You're obviously putting in another creative midfielder. That's just the reality of it, Udogie, he misses a game, right?
He'll miss one, yeah.
Yeah. So he puts Royal over there, or Royal's playing centre back. No, I think he's going to be positive about it. He's going to, in many ways, kind of funny, that high line is what he's going to, not the high line necessarily, but that boldness that he showed, he's probably going to be doing the same thing, And as Austin said in the beginning, I actually feel kind of positive that I knew this was going to happen. I said this on a previous chat. This is going to happen. How will he get through it? What will he do? And I think he's going to keep us get us through. Hey, we're not going to be in top spot, but what are we really realistically looking for? Playing entertainment football and maybe, top 4. So that's what he's going after. So yeah, I think he's going to be positive about it.
Well, we're still well on course for top 4. I mean, we lost this game, but we're still second. We lost our unbeaten league run, but we're still second after 10 games.
That's great. 11
and
games.
history says only one team has missed out on Champions League football after this kind of start. So
11 games, right? Yeah.
So we know what's bound to happen then.
Yeah, we're gonna set another record. So
I'm still positive. I still think that we're in the mix at the very top. I won't say the word title. I didn't say it. You imagined that. No. I think everyone's had these moments. Everyone's had a game that's gone their way. It took a absolute clusterfuck of unfortunate events to take that game away from us. And even then, I thought for a long time we still looked like we might be able to grab a draw or even a win. So but I guess so we'll see how Maddison gets on. That's the key question. It's clear that Romero suspended. I'm not as convinced as you, obviously, Stu, that's going to be a 3-match suspension. I guess they won't take it away, but the club, in my opinion, should contest that. Try to get the suspension down, because I don't think that was just. I don't think Andrew will complain about it, because I think he's the kind of guy that will take it on the chin and doesn't really want to criticize refs, which I respect. And I doubt we'll hear what he has to say after the game eventually, but I don't think he will complain. But yeah, so Udoka will be back. He'll have learned from this, and hopefully, I think that's the key. That's the key part of the fallout of this game. If Maddison's injured, he didn't want to come off. He said he was fine. You could read his lips. He said he did not want to come off. He looked surprised when the call came. I think he wanted to make it to halftime and see how he got on. So we can take some encouragement from that, I suppose. But yeah, I think we'll do okay. And I think that although I must say I'm looking at the date in front of me, 6th of November, wondering exactly when the transfer window opens.
Well, I think we know the date when the chance will be. But yeah, our next game is on the 11th of November. We got a lunchtime kickoff against Wolves away. There are worse teams to be facing, missing a couple of defenders, I'll be honest. Then we've got 2 weeks until the Villa game. So international. How many international breaks are we going to have this early in the season? This is getting ridiculous.
Hey, Stu, what about talking about set it up for who we seeing as our centre back pairing moving forward?
I think this is just so open to debate now, because we could have the centre back pairing we finished the game with. We could bring in Davis and pair him up with Dyer, but there is a massive lack of pace in that. There's a lack of pace if you pair him up with Højbjerg, there was one point where Højbjerg was like rocket heeled. I'd never seen him run like that before. He was fantastic. But he's not a central defender.
It'll be Phillips or Dorrington. One of them will step up.
Well, Dorrington's the lefty, isn't he, out of the two? So, I would like to see Dorrington step up and be given a chance. Because I think we're going to need Davis at left back. So yeah, we're talking now about the very thing we've said all year long. What's been the issue? The issue is depth. We have lacked depth right from the start, particularly in the defensive areas, and now we're going to suffer from it because we've lost 2 starter central defenders, and we were worried about losing one of them. We've lost both of them for the next 3 games at least.
Right. So the next 2 games: Wolves, Villa, City.
Yeah,
and that's going to be painful. So, and we know that we'll get Romero back after that. So, what is your best guess hamstring injury? 4 to 6 weeks? Did you say
6 weeks? I'd say.
Okay.
He pulled up pretty sharp.
Severity. It's 3 to 8 weeks, but so
3 to.
If everything starts to align and all of that, we could have Van Veen back for the
West Ham. Yeah, or West Ham. right?
Yeah.
So City game's a bit tight, but right. So West Ham and so both of them could be gone for those 3 games, and that's going to be a tough 3 games. And it'll be Dyer, I presume. I guess you're assuming that it's Dyer for Romero. And then, right, I'd be quite surprised if Dorrington comes in, partly because I think we spent good money on Ashley Phillips. But they seem pretty good for both of them. But yeah, so with any luck, we'll get even both of them back for West Ham or Newcastle on the 10th of December. Right.
I think Maddison will be okay. We've seen him pick up some little niggles and stuff earlier on throughout the season, and obviously he's been managed throughout the season because he's often come off on the 70th minute or so. I think he'll be all right. If he doesn't, then that causes us another issue. But we do have Dos Santos sitting on a bit, not Los Celso, sorry, not Dos Santos. There we go, going back a long way. Los Celso, we have Los Celso sitting on the bench waiting to take a place, and he looked pretty good in pre-season. So hopefully there's some.
What about Decky playing there? We've said this before. He's actually done it and scored a goal playing in that position, more central position. What about Decky?
Play Decky there, move Johnson over to the right, and bring Richarlison back in. I thought Richarlison should have started this game myself, but
because why?
Because I felt that bringing on a pacey player against tiring legs would be more sensible than having a pacey player start the game. Yeah,
that's what
it wouldn't have mattered today, though, right?
Wouldn't have mattered today.
Saying that, I thought Johnson was superb in the first half.
He was terrific.
He did very well. Yeah,
and he controlled the ball straight away. His control was much better than Richarlison's.
It was absolutely.
He was actually challenging them down our left-hand side, their right-hand side, every time he got the ball. I'm excited about him. I really am.
I still have doubts about him defensively, but interestingly, it didn't seem to be that exposed somehow. Or maybe he left Udogie a little bit exposed, and that might have been one of the reasons why we had problems. I don't know. But so I guess that remains to be seen. But so I've been interested to see Bentancur has been brought on in Kulusevski's position a couple of times, right? So that's not what I was expecting. But I suppose between Bentancur and Kulusevski, you got the Maddison and Kulusevski roles that we're used to, right? So I think that Bentancur will probably get the nod ahead of Lo Celso, and then the exact position of him and Kulusevski, who knows? It depends on the match situation, even maybe.
Bentancur's a better all-round player than Lo Celso. He's got 2 feet for a start, and he can dribble.
It's not a difficult call. I mean, there's not many players better than Bentancur, frankly.
No,
I thought you were going to say there's not many players worse than Lo Celso, which seemed a bit harsh.
Can I just say something I haven't mentioned at all?
I
thought the crowd were absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
All evening, all the second half, they were so good.
Yeah, they got a bit of a downer at 2-1.
Yeah,
but they recovered pretty well and were singing really well. Yeah,
I thought there were certain things from the crowd that showed real class tonight. First of all, Pochettino got a pretty good reception. He didn't get booed, which I thought was fine by me. This is a guy who was our manager for 5.5 years, did fantastic work with us, took us a long way, and deserves some respect. And I thought to boo him would have lacked a certain touch of class, and I thought to give him a decent welcoming, but not, as Ange said, we're not going to give the guy a guard of honor. I thought that was good, and then I thought the way that the crowd chanted and lifted the players, and I think that we kind of saw a reflection of that in Højbjerg, that moment where he cleared it off the line. He was obviously pumped up, and I think that was almost a reflection of what he was getting from the crowd. So,
I was watching the game, enjoying the at 1-1, enjoying the heroism, the bravery, the slightly mad high line, but the way it was working out and the amount of psychological pressure we were putting on them. And then my stream jumped, and we'd let in a goal. I was like, no, unbelievable. It's like, this is going, what? Oh, come on. That was a pretty tragic personal experience. I'm sure I've got everyone's sympathy there. But no, I mean,
I also have
for a while. Go on.
I just have to apologise for the 2-1 goal because I had to go out of the living room to get something. So it's on me.
All right.
Oh,
I feel
well.
better. Yeah, but I mean,
It'll be
for a while it looked like we were going to pull off of this sort of semi-miraculous 1-1, or maybe even snatch a goal. And you were like, well, Chelsea's psychologically fragile. You never know. For such a long time, it looked like we might do it. It would have been an amazing result. But I think that if for as long as it lasted, the crowd deserved full credit because they played their role as much as the players did. It was brilliant.
I genuinely thought in injury time we'd equalise.
Yep.
I thought we'd make it 2-2. I really thought a couple of the chances we had, and as I say, the offside goal from Dyer, we just looked actually very, very good. And some of the play we played, where we take the ball, we beat the man, and then we look for the pass, and we find our player. That's better than we've done for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
even
easily.
with only 9 men.
Yeah, I mean, tonight it's been a bit of a harsh awakening, but I think there were still positives to take from it, and I think long term we're going to be fine. We obviously, there seems to be some kind of commitment from the club to spend some money in January, and obviously it is absolutely needed. But I think we've done so well this season that to be upset and throwing our toys out the pram over this one result would be a bit churlish. So, I think Pochettino will be happy. Postecoglou, the man I'm more interested in, will take this. He'll be classy as hell in his thing. He'll say, look, this is the kind of result you just have to take on the chin and move on. And that's what we're going to do. We'll learn what we learn from it. We'll incorporate the good parts, and we'll learn from the bad. And let's go. Let's go again.
I think he'll have the players feeling 10 foot high after that, or most of them, with the Udogie in particular, and sure maybe Romero as well. Everyone else will be feeling 10 foot high because he'll be praising them to the hill. I think he'll manage to find a way to have the players feeling positive about themselves because they deserve to be proud of themselves, and I'm sure he'll get that message across very well. He's doing that right now.
Yeah,
I thought it was very classy at the end as well between Postecoglou and Pochettino, and then Pochettino hugged Sonny and he hugged a couple of other players. I thought for a Chelsea Spurs game, the warmth at the end of the game was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah,
but we've got to do better with Chelsea. We've got to stop getting into these wars with them. We've got to stop allowing ourselves to get sucked into these battles because we're the team that's getting punished by them. We've got to keep our heads a bit more than this, I think. I was pretty pissed off with Pochettino at the end of it. I was ready to boo him, I must say, just because I was pissed off about how the game went.
Well, we've had last word now. We're going to close things out because I think we've said all we need to for tonight. It's been tough, but we've had the Battle of the Bridge, and tonight we've had the tussle at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And let's all move on now. And we'll be back. Our next video will be on the 11th of November, straight after the Wolves game. Please keep your eyes open for that. Until then, everybody, please like, share, subscribe, and of course, check out the recent interview we did with our good mate, Charlie Bewley. Until then, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Who is Charlie Bewley, by the way?
Who's Charlie Bewley?
Can I? Sorry, Stu. Can I just say something?
Yeah, of course.
You've got to stop stepping on Stu's wrap up. It's like it's like your mission in life.
No, it's an age thing. You should show respect to me because I'm old.
Why don't you just wait? Let Stu finish the wrap up.
Charlie Bewley is a respected actor, a member of Arcade's Forum. He was in 3 or 4 of the Twilight films.
4 of them.
Played 4 of them. I thought it was 3, but no, didn't think he was in the first one. But anyway, he's played Dimitri in that. He's been various other films. The most recent one I saw was American Rebels, which was very good. I have to say, I enjoyed that. Yeah. You
can be sure that this is all going to get cut out right now.
No, it's staying in.
And you can say whatever you like now.
I'm the editor, so I
get but I made it hard for Stu last time because I hit the stop recording button before he got to say his catchphrase. And it's your mission. Just as he doesn't have an edit point. This is have some pity on the editor here. It's a nightmare.
Hey, we made it work last time, didn't we? We made it work.
Hey, guys, and Stu and Matt. I'm looking at Charlie's Twitter post, and he says, and I don't know if you guys are actually on it. Ange versus Conti, Jennifer versus Angelina, more or less the same thing. 'Twas a pleasure to join the Cats team for a chat about my favorite thing. His link to the video on his Twitter has us at 324 views, 2 reposts, and 3 likes.
Cool.
I don't know how that shows up differently, Stu, than on your feed, but 324 is that's probably our most that we've ever had. No?
Yeah, that beats even our most successful shorts. I see 114, but you know, maybe YouTube's just not being nice to me. We'll see. Ange is on TV now saying, in terms of effort, will, and determination, it was outstanding by the lads. They gave everything they could, which, yeah, I think he's right.
Yeah.
So there we go. Okay, and with that, I'm going to bed because it's late. I'll edit
Stu,
this in the morning.
just say one? Can I just say one?
Of course you can.
No, I don't. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
All right, next time, please join us for the Wolves game. We will be talking about it after that. I promise to get the video out the same day, as long as Austin lets me finish the video. Good night, everybody. Come on, Spurs.
Good night.
Night all. Thanks, Stu.